All. This is Dr. Mobeen Sayed from drbeen.com. Welcome to one more show and welcome everyone. So, continuing with our love for hydroxychloroquine. And somebody put a comment yesterday that if you really love hydroxychloroquine, why did you not take it? I actually forgot that I could have taken hydroxychloroquine as well. I do prefer ivermectin over hydroxy because of the safety profile of ivermectin and the speed and the efficacy with which it works. However, hydroxy is very good as well. So what we'll do is the same thing as before. We'll do a short and sweet talk about hydroxychloroquine and zinc together, still effective against the variants, yes or no, and then we would do the chit chat afterwards. So welcome, and let's see, what do you think? Are they still effective or not? Do you have a thought? Okay, and we would also talk about my health in the chit chat. I have not taken any medicine today other than ivermectin that I took last night, and I would take that again today. I'll discuss that with you, but I have taken nothing else, and we'll talk about how my health is. So let's start. The question is, are hydroxychloroquine and zinc, this combination, still effective against the variants? And the spilling the beans here, yes, these are. And let's see how. And if you are aware of this diagram, this illustration from last time, there is one change in this illustration compared to the ivermectin spilling the beans. Can you spot that change? So I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out what was the change, and let's continue. So one mistake that I had made in this diagram with ivermectin, that was that over here I had put P1 in front of the South Africa and then B1 here. So that was just by mistake. So my apologies. I cannot go back right now and fix it, but I hope we are on the same page. Many cool beans pointed it out. So the first question is, will hydroxychloroquine and zinc interfere with the SARS-CoV-2's binding as they normally do? So let's look at that. We know that when hydroxychloroquine is present in our cell, then what happens is that when the cell is making these ACE2 enzymes to be shown on the surface, the last amino acid of this enzyme, imagine if this enzyme is a machine, a tiny bowl, if you will, and then we have to attach a little candy on top of it. So let's say here somewhere we have to attach a candy or glycate this enzyme. We call it glycation to add glucose to the amino acid. This last glycation of the enzyme is blocked by hydroxychloroquine. So that means in the presence of the hydroxychloroquine, the enzyme that is ACE2 has slightly less affinity for SARS-CoV-2. Now we know that there are certain variants that actually have higher affinity. So will hydroxy still reduce that affinity? Yes. But will it block it altogether? No, it never did that before, and it cannot do that now. But it will continue to offer resistance to the binding of the SARS-CoV-2, whatever variant it is, to the ACE2, unless the spike protein changes are so dramatic that the virus is almost not using spike protein at all. One, or the receptor binding domain of the SARS-CoV-2 or its variant has become so strongly affine, so strongly magnetic to the ACE2 that this tiny interference is of no use. Then still hydroxy would continue to work in other areas, and this area might become weaker. So that is the first update. Now, continuing, fusion. Remember, then once the virus is attached to the ACE2, then the TMPRSS2 would kind of prime the spike protein. Attachment would occur. The second part would then attach with the cell membrane, and a fusion would occur with the cell membrane, or the whole virus particle will be brought into the cell in the form of a particle like this. So this is the virus, and it is endocytosed or phagocytosed. That all can happen. And we know that the fusion with the membranes will have a problem for the virus in the presence of hydroxychloroquine, because hydroxy will increase the pH. Increasing pH, I was kind of getting confused. I always get confused with the pH. Increasing the pH, which would cause basic or alkaline environment in various compartments of the cell, and that alkaline environment would then interfere with the particle fusing with the vesicles membranes and becoming free. The virus has to fuse with the membranes, then it has to become free. It has to shed its RNA into our cytoplasm, which then will work to make more viruses. So hydroxy would interfere with that process. And will it interfere with all variants? Yes. It doesn't care what a variant looks like. It is actually changing the acidity of the cell vesicles. It is not doing anything to the virus itself. So when the vesicle have become basic in nature, when it has become alkaline and its function is reduced, then whatever variant is there, their fusion will reduce. So hydroxy will stay 100% effective for this mechanism, which is a good news. Next, hydroxy interfering with the replication. And so there are a couple of mechanisms there to see. So this, you can say 3 and 4. Number one, hydroxy, will it continue to act as a zinc ionophore? Yes. It doesn't matter what a variant is. Hydroxy is going to continue to work as a zinc ionophore. And somebody had asked this comment yesterday that could we say quercetin here as well? Yes, you could say quercetin as well. So will this function reduce in the presence of any of the variant? Not at all. So that function will continue to be there. Then once the zinc is present inside the cell, zinc is going to disrupt the RDRP of the virus so that the virus assembly, new viruses, more viruses production will go down. Will this function continue? Yes. Why? Because the RDRP of the virus is the same. Whatever mutations are occurring, the basic functional units of the virus are still the same. RDRP is an enzyme without which this virus cannot propagate at all. So RDRP is the same, and zinc is going to continue to work on it. So any of the variant, zinc would attack them, and not them, but their RDRP, and it would work. So then the answer is, and this is it. So then the answer is that will hydroxy and zinc combination continue to be effective? Yes. So that is the answer. And I wanted to show you a couple of things and then we stop. So look, I did it in 8 minutes. I want to show you this thing. So this is drbeen.com. Here, once again, beautiful article for various lineages of the virus. And I was seeing some news today where they were just so dramatizing that this is going to become a big issue and the variants are going to be everywhere and we are going to be in trouble. Yes, from SARS-CoV-1, we ended up with SARS-CoV-2, which is punishing us at this time. And if SARS-CoV-2 becomes SARS-CoV-3, it is also going to be really bad. But so far, none of the variants has reached that point. And I still maintain that if a variant has become more contagious, then it would have become less lethal as well. And again, I don't think I had COVID, but if I had COVID, you saw how mild the symptoms were. Okay, so here is a very decent article about just general hydroxychloroquine. Here is another article. I did not even know. I think this is some far right article. But what they have done is, and I saw this a lot, many people have actually taken screenshots from our videos and then used them to write their articles about hydroxychloroquine. So this is actually a screenshot from one of my talks, and then that has been used here to present how hydroxychloroquine works. This is a video from me about hydroxychloroquine, and then this is Dr. Marek's discussion, and then down here, this is funny. This is actually Dr. Zelenko, which, as you can see, YouTube has taken it down. So YouTube has been very active against hydroxychloroquine. So here is a little proof of that. Then there was another thing which I thought was really interesting to see. So I was trying to find my own video in which I had done 4 or 5 mechanism of hydroxychloroquine. I wanted to put the links here. I had not uploaded that on YouTube thinking they would knock it down. So I was trying to find wherever it was posted, and I was searching for hydroxychloroquine, Dr. Mubin. It's a very common search. And guess, look at, do you see something interesting on this page? Yes, absolutely, LD. Do you see something interesting on this page? Here is something interesting. This is WHO. This is WHO. This is their ad. They are spending money to say hydroxychloroquine does not work. Of course, this page here, I then opened up this page. I cracked up when I looked at it. We are complaining, we're sitting complaining, why are they not pro hydroxy or ivermectin? Why are they not saying vitamin D? Why aren't they doing such things that would help public with cheap, inexpensive, readily available resources? And here they are actually spending money to discuss the opposite of it. So I went to that page and I said, all right, what the heck are they talking about? So here, this is a page for general myths. So there are many things that they are right about over here. And in here, they have this fact as well. Studies show hydroxychloroquine does not have clinical benefits in treating COVID-19. And that shows up as an ad whenever you search for hydroxychloroquine. So that was funny for me to see that they're actually putting their effort on the opposite side of it. So having said that, and you may have seen today, CNN's report as well that, hey, ivermectin is not working, and FDA is very concerned that people are using it, and hospitalizations have increased. And if you look at their adverse effect list, that is diarrhea, nausea, and overdosing. For God's sake, let people have the right ivermectin instead of taking animal and other ivermectins, or take ivermectin in extra doses because doctors are not willing to work with them. And this would not have happened. So anyways, let's do a chit chat and we will go from there. I'm going to join you in chit chat in a few minutes. So please like, subscribe, and share. Please promise me, this is short videos. You like, subscribe, and share. And if you wanted to support this work, there are links in the description. One is to buy me coffees. Yesterday, I had very few coffees. Second is to become my patron. And the third one is to support this channel in general if you wanted to. So thank you very much. I'm going to see you in a few minutes.